Hello and welcome back to another episode of cedh Bling Builds. Today we're going to do something interesting. We're going to talk about different ways to choose a commander and ways we can nerf our commander to take down the power level for like the pods that whine a little bit too much and you just don't want to hear them whine anymore. So I chose to go with Mardu because I guess I'm just feeling Mardu for the upcoming weekend. And they have similar enough strategies, but with the different Mardu generals that I own, we could adjust the power level of the deck. So when looking for a commander, there are a couple of things for me. Right? So this is a personal, this is anecdotal. I tend to like the generals that are an infinite mana sink in the command zone. This way I could just keep storming and storming and storming, going deeper, deeper, deeper into a combo. And so if that's the case, then what we're going to look at is something like Extus, Tibna. Now, which Tibna combination for Mardu? We got Tibna Jessica. To an extent, to a degree, we could do a Tibna Rograth, or a more outdated version of the same deck, a Tibna Bruce. Don't argue with me. A Tibna Rograth is a updated version of Tibna Bruce. With that said, I'm just going to eliminate Bruce out. And that's because it's like a Mardu turbo farm deck. It wants to really get in with these teeny tiny babies, draw cards with Tibna, and then sack them for like rituals or tutors, to then play an ad nauseum as soon as possible. That ad nauseum will be played because the curve is so low in the deck. We get a huge ad nauseum value to find a combo, whether it's Underworld Breach or like a Cloudstone loop. Of course, all these combos are dependent on Dockside's enchantment and artifact count. So I actually wouldn't recommend any hardcore Dockside dependent combo for a lower power pod. And this is because I say it all the time, a Dockside is really whack against low power pods because your Dockside, it's going to go even by turn 8. So I wouldn't recommend. Extus is interesting. Let's take this away for a second. Extus is interesting because if we have a look at Extus's backside, we have a sorcery that with infinite mana can win the game. Right? Weaken the Blood Avatar. You just cast it infinitely. I haven't played Extus in a minute, but and then we just, I guess, use the Avatar, the tokens, to just run over our opponents and punch them in the mouth. What I like about an Extus deck is that Extus allows me to run stacks creatures. I like the Rule of Law stacks creatures. There are a million stacks creatures, just like the Kalia and stuff like that. But my personal favorite are the rule of law stacks creatures. Now, what makes Exodus interesting is that its backside, the Awaken the Blood avatar, you can sack a creature to cast it to make the cost a little bit cheaper. And so it's perfect for this strategy where you can have these rule of law creatures be on board. It's whatever. They're on board, they're making the game slower for you. Cool, they're making this game slower for your opponents too. And when the time comes when you assemble that infinite mana engine, right? Then you just sack your own creatures to get the party started. Very, very easy, very easy. And so that's how I like to run Exodus. So it's a little bit slower, grindier mid-range deck when compared to like something really, really fast, like a Tymna Rograth or Tymna Jeska. Tymna Jeska is really, really fast, disgusting, despicable deck where you want to find an infinite mana engine, whether it's a World Gorger or even a Bomberman combo, whatever you get your hands on, really. People disagree on which engine to run, and really just shut the fuck up because you just want to find the engine that happens the fastest. I like Bomberman in a Tymna Jeska because you're already running the Lion's Eye Diamond in the deck, right? So what's the harm in, Auriok Salvagers? You're already doing Underworld Breach that really, really heavily depends on that Lion's Eye Diamond. Now, here's an interesting one. You have Tymna Kedis. This is a meme deck. This is really, really memey. And the way this deck wants to do, you could do like your bullshit ad nause, mardu ad nause, turbo nause strategy, sure. But with Kedis, you have the addition of a card like Hatred, which is a 3 and a 2 black instant speed. You're gonna get in and pay life points to then hit all your opponents for the equal amount of what you paid. That won't be commander damage. No. Sorry. So this is I take it back. You're gonna pay life points to. You're gonna pay life to deal like X amount of damage to an opponent. When one of your commanders gets in, Kedis has to be on board to do this, because with its ability, that damage is also going to be not split, but additionally dealt to your opponents. This isn't commander damage, so that makes the deck a little more complicated because you want a shit ton of life linkers to make sure that when this happens, you're above 40. Above 40, or above whatever, above your opponents. So this is a meme build, and that's another way to adjust the power of your commander. Now, my personal favorite to really, really, really drop the power for your commander is a Snapdax. I'm waiting for the Chinese Lunar New Year Snapdax promo to appear. I look all the time. Where is it? I don't know. But I really, really like Snapdex because he's not an infinite mana outlet. He's not a sink in the command zone. He doesn't do anything particularly broken. He's just a beater. And so if you really have the opponents that just fucking whine too much, goo goo, fucking gaga, then you can bring the Snapdax onto the playing field. And what Snapdax wants to do, just get him beats. You mutate, right? It has to be a non-human. Remember, boys and girls, how mutate works. It's more difficult to do that because of this double white. It becomes a nuisance. It has double strike. When it ETBs with mutate, it pew-pews somebody for something, a creature for 4. That's very underpowered. What more can you want? What more can you ask for? Right? If they're still bitching and moaning after you beat them up with a Snapdax. I mean, depends on what table I'm sitting at, right? So I bring the Snapdax, so I'm already running an underpowered deck. We're going to talk about some more changes you can make to the deck in just a moment. But with the Snapdax, you can run silly things like, when I really got to take the power down, I run little things like Vampire Dire Moon, which is a single 1-drop, but it has Death Touch Lifelink. We have a Healer's Hawk, which is Flying Lifelink. These are all like really neat mutate targets. We have a Vault Scourge, which is 1 in Phyrexian, right? So just 1 with Flying Lifelink. Flestermite, Fleshlight, 1 in a black, but it has Infect and Lifelink. And same thing with the Plague Stinger, it's a Flying and Infect. So these are really fun fun mutate targets for your Snapdax. Really turn off the heat, right? If they're still complaining after you do something like that, then I don't know. Actually, all kidding aside, if they're still complaining after that, then you are within your right to start criticizing them for their shit, incoherent. You're totally in your right to criticize them for just them with their poor builds, right? With their craftsmanship, with their shit incoherent deck, with things that don't flow or connect or don't make sense in the deck or shouldn't be in the deck. Composition is everything, and so if it makes sense in the deck, then it works. You won't get stuck with cards in your hand or anything like that. And so these are the choices. Like if I'm running a Tymna Kedis, right? I'm not gonna need like a Volt Scourge in the deck, but I would put in like a Dragon's Rage Channeler to really help to speed up Underworld Reach lines, right? It's choices like that that really go a long way. Oh, or speaking of the difference between like little changes between like a Tymna Kedis versus like a Snapdax. A Snapdax, even though the mana basis for all these Mardu decks is essentially the same, a Snapdax might have a City of Traders just to make this mutate a little bit cheaper, right? This is not a budget alternative deck tech video. This is a powered down deck tech video. Or in a Tymna Kedis would get like a Boseiju, who shelters all, to make my hatred uncounterable, but it wouldn't be the other way around. You see what I mean? So these choices are everything. They're everything. Another thing we can do in to power down decks is, we have our sweaty Tutors. And not everyone is going to have access to an Imperial Seal and Demonic Tutor, or even a Vampiric Tutor, because of price or whatever. I know that lower powered pods aren't as friendly when it comes to proxying cards. So that's a challenge you might face. And so you have to run real paper cards. So, something we could do is just run shittier Tutors. Grim Tutor, the other 2/2 black Tutor. I don't even know the name of it. Here's a cool one. Dark Petition is a really neat tutor. For 3 and 2 black at a sorcery speed, we tutor up a card. Okay, but then it has a Spell Mastery, which is a really neat mechanic from MTG Origins, where if we have like a measly 2 instant or sorcery in the graveyard, then we'll get back 3 CMC. So a long time ago, I would run like a Dark Petition in like a Zur, a Doomsday deck, but that time has come and gone, and I really haven't found a spot for my dark bargain, whatever this is called. A dark petition. Another weird tutor is like Mausoleum Secrets for 1 and a black. And instant speed. This is a really neat. This is really, really cool tutor. You search your library for a black card. What makes it everything is that it's instant speed. But you're going to search your library for a black card with CMC less than or equal to the number of creatures, cards in your graveyard. So for certain decks, this is very easily achieved. This is a must-have in like an Andre deck, right? The Turbo Madness thing. So you can, for me, I would use it to like quickly tutor up like a Necromancy or one of the other reanimate auras to then do stuff from there. So, to power down decks, again, just maybe remove the gross tutors for higher CMC tutors, or just remove the black tutors from your deck altogether. That's on you. That's on you. Another thing we could do is, the mana rocks, right? So, if you're gonna power down a deck, then look out for the mana rocks. You kind of don't want to have mana positive rocks in your deck because your opponents are gonna bitch and moan and complain. Even a Soul Ring can be eliminated from a deck in exchange for just 2 CMC mana rocks, or even 3 CMC mana rocks. But definitely the mana positive rocks are something that could be cut from a deck to power down a deck. So again, with Snapdax, if I really wanted to be like really, really nice guy, because I'm playing with a bunch of structure decks in a pod who, commanders are a hobby, but they, I guess, don't invest in their own hobby, then I would probably cut mana positive rocks. But I'm not such a nice guy. I would still play that. In fact, I'm going to build Snapdex at the end of this video. Get it ready for the weekend. But it's gonna be a fully optimized Snapdex deck. Right? So that's another thing you can do. Right? You can have a lower powered general and just not make it fully optimized. Right? So these are all the different variables. You can have high tier generals, not fully optimized, low tier generals, fully optimized, not fully optimized. It's your call. It's your call. Me personally, I'm kind of a dickhead in real life, and if someone complains and I feel like it's not justified, I will curse them the fuck out and let them know, how it is. I lost a lot of companions by just them bitching and bitching and bitching and bitching, and I just straight up let them know, like, hey, maybe it's your deck synergies, or maybe it's your composition, right? It just doesn't make sense. It's shitty, or could be better. And without, please, I apologize in advance, without sounding like too much of a snob, like, this is why I make the arguments for the single-sleeved, single collection. There's no point in having 30 complete commander decks that are just like trash, when you can just have like any commander deck you want with the one collection. I have some videos about that, like how you could do that. There's an important Mardu commander that's missing, the Kalia. I ran Kalia, I had Kalia, I sold her. I don't care about Kalia. Like, what she wants to do to play like a fair deck is like not interesting to me. The higher tier Kalia decks really just want to cheat in a Razakath to do Razakath things, and I just don't, I think that's kind of like lame. It's stupid. But if you're gonna waste your time like beating people up with Kalia, like, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 2. I don't know how many times you think your Kalia is going to get in, but then run it like a Winota deck or something. Don't be fucking crazy. Another combo we could find in a lot of these, let's go over some of the combos we'll find in a lot of these Mardu strategies. That could be cut, could be, dual caster, twin flame combo. It has to be in every single Mardu deck. It has to, because it's the fairest combo. And it just works, right? You could make copies of like the shitty beaters that are getting in, that will ETB and do something or whatever. Or you just come later and just find the win. This is something that could be tutored up, replayed from your grave, like under an Underworld Breach or something. Here's another weird combo, which is so bad. We have the Ad Nause. Ad Nause is already in the deck, right? Most of these decks, just for value. Angel's Grace has fallen out of favor, but if you add a third card to the if you had like a Sickening Dreams, then voila, you draw the deck, pitch the hand, and since you're not going to lose, everyone's going to just burn in hell. Of course, we have Dockside Cloudstone loops to generate infinite mana, and then you find an outlet from there, right? Another way. Oh, don't forget in your Exodus deck to include the Worthy Cause. And then, of course, we have another infinite mana thing we could do. We have our World Gorger. World Gorger with its auras, right? This is a very fragile combo because if it gets disrupted, you're really, really screwed. Also, Leon Relic Warder could be thrown into the mix. You target the Warder when he's in the graveyard, and the Warder will target the reanimation aura. They'll go and they'll come back, and then you bing, boom, bing, boom, bam. And then you want something that's on board, whether it's like a Blood Artist or a Mayhem Devil or something. I like Mayhem Devil because it already works well in these type of decks. Just gets value from opponents fetching, and then you ping like a dork. But something like that. Another combo that's another combo that could be done through your Underworld Breach. LED really helps the Underworld Breach lines. I remember when Underworld Breach was like way under $100, but now I think it's a little out of reach for a lot of people. But like I said, in the competitive scene, you could proxy up these cards and no one cares. I don't care if I see a fully proxied out deck, because I'd rather play like a sweaty thinking man's game than one of your 30 trash tier complete decks. And then, of course, the LED Auric Salvagers could be an infinite mana engine, but you want to have an outlet, right? So, like, an infinite mana engine does not work in like a Snapdex decks, but it does work in a Tymna Jessica deck, because the Jessica is the outlet. It works in a Exodus deck because Exodus's backside is the outlet, and it's as simple as that. And then you can run like stacks pieces. Again, I like Rule of Law effects in Exodus because I could sack them. Put in maybe something like a Snapdax where I don't mind the much slower game. I could run the Rule of Law the enchantments. Exodus can't eat these, so I wouldn't put this in Exodus, but I would put it in a Snapdex. I wouldn't put it in Tymna Rogwrath or Tymna Jessica because I don't want to get cucked when I'm trying to storm off and these are like still on board. Think about that. right? So this is a decision you have to really dwell on. You don't want to put something like this in a fast deck, because hypothetically you could be ready to combo off, but you can't because you're under your own rule of law, and then someone bounces, right? They cyclonic rift at the end of your turn, and then they go off. What are you gonna fucking cry about it? This is the choice you made. So it's just about the decisions and who you go with. But you know, I figured I'd put a video like this together because I was just in the process of putting a bunch of Mardu decks together, and I thought like, oh, the reason why I'm doing this is all different power levels, and I know a lot of people get curious about like the power levels of Commander. It's just something that people like to bitch and whine about because I guess they have nothing else better to do with their life. They always have to find something to argue about. What's another weird argument that the community likes to, Magic players? cedh should be its own format. Why? Why? We're playing under like your rules. In fact, the casuals are like the really weird ones. They'll like run Emrakul and sideboards and shit. It's like, come on. And you can't, that's not really a solution, because there's always, whatever the card pool is, there's always going to be a top tier deck, and someone's going to build that deck. It's just the nature of a game. So maybe back in the 80s, EDH was a format where you just, something to do with your bulk, right? But that time has come and gone a long time ago. So yeah, so that's the end of the video. Thank you very much. Coming soon, I guess, Mardu Mardu deck techs. If you're interested, let me know in the comments section, or I'll just put whatever together, whatever you ask. Okay, bye.